Welcome, you guys. We are officially live. Welcome to CreatorCon, brought to you by United. Please drop in the chat. We want to make sure the chat's working okay. Please drop in the chat where you're watching live from, because I know we actually have a number of people that are hosting watch parties right now from across the country. So let's drop in the chat where we're tuning in from. You guys, United is a collaboration community in the real estate space. We are open to every brand and brokerage, and we have local United communities all over the US, as well as in where I am, Ontario, Canada, and actually a lot more locations coming soon. So if you're curious about connecting with great agents in your local market, check out our website. It is unitedcommunity.com. We'll drop that in the chat to make it easier for you to reference. My name is Amy Youngren. I am the founder of United, and I am one of your hosts today, along with my friends and my partners, Raquel Quinet and Joe Herrera. You guys, I shared something really raw and open with you on social media yesterday, and one of my biggest regrets in business, I actually look back at learning lessons and regrets and things like that in business, and I typically always just approach them from like, that was growth, that was learning, failing forward, right? But I actually do have one regret, and I was very honest and shared this with you, and that is that I have not, in years gone by, I was not consistent enough with content creation. And if you're anything like me and you really do want to build a big business, you want to lead a big life and impact a lot of people along the way, then creating content has to be, bar none, non-negotiable. So Raquel, I have a question for you. For agents that are watching today that do want to elevate their content game and build their brand, why do you think that today CreatorCon is going to be so valuable?
Well, we have put this event together for one reason, because the content game has changed and it continues to change. You guys already know this. Visibility alone is not enough anymore. Like just posting for the sake of posting isn't moving the needle like it did a few years ago, right? And copying whatever everyone else is doing, like guess what? Like that's just not a strategy. Or scrolling, and it's going, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to someday do that. And you never get around to it, right? That's why I think agents feel so invisible online today. And we've built CreatorCon because the agents who will win in 2026 are the ones who understand how to turn content into clients, not just likes, not just followers. And at our United community, like we brought together the best of the best in our industry, people who are actually creating content and generating business from it. So we wanted to give you guys great access to all these amazing people in our lineup today. And these are leaders who have built brand equity and pipelines, and you're going to see what's actually working today. So speaking of today, Joe, what can they expect from CreatorCon?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think the first thing to expect is information. You're going to be informed as to the platforms and the principles that people are using. Beyond that, I would hope you would gain some inspiration from people who have accomplished things, that wow you. I'm going to talk about Ken here in a second. Like he's crushing it, his team's crushing it. And so I would hope you'd be inspired, but probably more than that, guys, we really want you to gain some aspiration, meaning some things you want to take action on that will help you grow your business. So, it's good to have information. It's really good to have inspiration. But if we want to be great, we need to aspire. We need to try. We need to apply. And that's what people can expect today, is to not just learn kind of what people are doing, a little bit of how they're doing it, but ultimately to walk away with some motivation to try to do it yourself. Yeah. So let me take a second to introduce you guys to Ken Pozek. He's just a great dude. He and I instantly connected. I got, a couple of years ago, we connected at a Rise conference, and I was just like, dude, this is my guy. We've stayed in touch. He just brought his massive team over to Reel. The numbers, I think they're going to do 400 million in production in 2025. Ken, correct me if I'm wrong. But so much of it is he's the digital mayor of Orlando, Florida, for sure. Like my kid, I told my kid, so my son works for us. and he's like, "Oh, I see you're doing that event with Ken." He's like, I watch a lot of his like Disney stuff. So Ken's talking about what's happening at Disney World, what's happening at Harry Potter, like what's happening in Orlando from a real estate perspective, from a lifestyle perspective. And he's just one of those individuals that is executing at a really high level. So you guys are going to get some information from him. You're going to get some inspiration from him, and hopefully he'll inspire you to try to achieve some of it yourself. So Ken, welcome.
Dude, thanks so much for having me. It's very kind intro. Excited to be here. So I've got some prepared slides for you guys and kind of talk a little bit about our journey. But I also want to make sure that this is super back and forth Q&A, guys. Like, this isn't me talking at you for the next 25 minutes. Like, I would love for you, as you're either inspired on something or you have a question on something, or maybe I'm not super clear one way or the other. Maybe my ADD gets the best of me. Please drop the comments below. Let's kind of stay engaged and have some fun along the way. But what we like to say at Pozek Group here in Orlando, Florida, is that we are a media company that happens to sell real estate. And so this is kind of what that looks like. Let me make sure this is clicking through here. There we go. This is the team that I've got. Joe, can you give me a thumbs up? Is this coming through okay on the slides? Sweet. So this is the Pozek Group. We are 52 people now strong. And in 2024, we closed 500 sides or so, 300 million. This year, we're at over 600 sides, just shy of 400 million. I'm going to have to go buy a house, Joe and Amy. I feel like if I don't hit 4 million, I'm going to get us there one way or the other. But
yeah, just go buy a $2 million property and you're there, bro.
And then I'm there. That's all I need to do at this point. But yeah, so we're growing in a market, and I mentioned this again more so that the market's tough right now. The market is pulled back in a lot of different ways, and yet we've made massive leaps in hiring and what we're doing, and it's been a fun ride. But I like to say media makes everything else easier or unnecessary. This is, if you guys in the chat, let me know. If you guys want more agent referrals, you want more past client referrals, you want more direct leads that are not having to tie to a Zillow or Realtor.com, let me know in the comments below. Would that actually help you in your business? If you need to hire more team members, like that's the other thing. Media makes our hiring process so much better than it ever has been. I'll put out a story because of our following. I'll put a story on Instagram that we're hiring, and I'll tell a little bit about maybe somebody on my team that's crushing it. And I'll say, we're hiring. If you're interested in joining us, let me know. And my director of sales now will have 20, 30, 40 people reaching out to join the team. And so it makes everything else that we do easier or unnecessary. And so we're going to dive into a little bit about how we do that and what that looks like here in a hot second. So this was 2016, by the way. I'm not from Orlando originally. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, but I've been a real estate agent since 2004. And so we relocated to Florida, sort of a start over. And this was me, Joe, Amy, Raquel. Like, this was like dialing for dollars.
Still sexy though. Still sexy.
Oh no, this guy was like 50 pounds heavier than I am now. He was not happy. Calling expireds for sale by owners, door knocking, open houses, really everything that we were taught to do. And so this is us today. You know, I've now, the mayor's come on our podcast. That's me in the bottom left there, like sitting in the owner's suite at the Orlando City soccer game. Epic Universal Disney has us out covering different things. The news, the like actual news, I guess, the traditional news has me on probably on a monthly basis at this point to talk about what's going on in Orlando from a real estate perspective. And it all comes down because this idea around creating this media company. And so it didn't start there, though. There's actually, many of you guys know Josh Rogers. He's a real agent. He was like, hey, you should start doing YouTube. And I was like, I don't know what that means. And he's like, well, you're tired of calling expireds for sale by owners. You should start YouTube. It will change your life. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, if you think so, I'll try it. And so here we are. This is my first YouTube video. Had a whopping 38 views. This is in 2017. I interviewed this lender.
You can see the camera in the background too, which is dope.
You can, yeah. You can also see like he didn't want to be there. I didn't really want to be there. Like his look on his face was like, oh my God, let me get off this camera as quick as possible. But I started somewhere, and then I was like, hey, you know what? I created 40 videos or so. I'm an expert now. Let me grab my phone and show people, agents, how to do content. And, it wasn't great. I did another one where I was like, here in my office, I have a lot of nerdy collectibles from theme parks and movies. And I was like, what if I went around and showed people like, my office, and nobody cared about that either. But 204 videos in, I created this video that was the 10 things that you may not know about Celebration Florida. I got almost 150,000 views, and people started calling me from all over the country, all over the world, people from the UK, people from Canada. And they're like, we want to buy in your area. You seem like the expert. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, I actually might be onto something. And so that was 6 years ago now. Before I pivot and talk about the media company real quick, Joe, do you know what this is? Amy, Raquel, anybody in the comment section? You guys know what this is?
No, I can't tell.
The market
Okay.
stuff?
Looks like a day trading desk.
Stocks.
Yeah,
Weather?
so this is, there you go. Yeah, a little bit of everything. So this is the Bloomberg terminal. And so this Bloomberg terminal is like, you've heard of Michael Bloomberg before. This is like, he's worth $96 billion. The way that he got so rich was selling this data right here. And so it was like $2,500 a month. And he was like, I'm going to sell this terminal. It's the best data that any analytic person could buy. And there's like currently 300,000 people that pay $2,500 a month for this system even today. But like, I've pulled this from his bio. It says, to many people outside of finance, Bloomberg is a media company. That's a little like describing Disney as a theme park operator or Google as an email provider. Out of Bloomberg's massive media, they have more than $12 billion in revenue. Only 500 comes from actual media. This is like basically from the rest of it coming from the terminal, what we just saw here. And this got me thinking about, okay, then his whole thing, Bloomberg, is I create media to sell the thing that I sell and make the most amount of money at. Now, you guys didn't know at a glance what that terminal was, but you probably have heard of Michael Bloomberg and media in the past. And so it kind of got me thinking of like, okay, YouTube works, but like what other things out there also act like a media company, but then like sell their thing? And so we've all heard Instagram, YouTube, we've heard all of these different things before. And yet you don't think of yourself as like, what if I created this media company that happened to sell real estate in my area? What if I knew everybody in town knew who I was, and then I got to insert the thing that I do and monetize? The reason why Zillow makes so much money is because they've got the eyeballs. And so for us, we've slowed down to create this media company that happens to sell real estate. And so here's kind of the way that we do that. Instead of being the traditional media, we are the new media. If you look at October 2025, we had 12 million unique accounts reached, 292,000 views on YouTube, emails, crazy amount open, 9 million views on Instagram, 4 million on TikTok. About 300,000 followers across all social media. And again, zero paid reach, zero Zillow, zero realtor.com. So our net profit is actually respectable. Does that make sense so far, guys?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what does that mean for us on leads? We had like 400 leads come in through in October, 700 newsletter signups. So that's all directly from our media. So you've got the old school media here in Orlando. You've got the Orlando Business Journal. You've got all these other different places that will talk about new restaurants opening, new jobs opening, all that kind of thing. And basically all we're doing is doing what they do poorly really well. A lot of us real estate agents know how to create reels. We know how to create social media, but it's like storytelling and social media is kind of in our DNA. Traditional media, they just don't do a great job at it. You look here, this is like, again, the local Orlando Business Journal. They've got 2,600 followers. Their average reel gets 100 or 16 views, whereas ours are getting hundreds of thousands, kind of telling the same story. So let's dive into what's working with what we have kind of in
So
the
really
remainder
quick,
of our
Ken,
chat.
a
Yeah,
takeaway
please.
there is you will hop on to these news outlets. You'll see an article they cover, and then you'll just take it and do it very Kennethy and just make it weighty.
Yeah. So here's the deal. So we go and say, okay, if there's a new theme park opening, great, I'm going to cover that. But really we try to bend over and say, do a bent where it's like, hey, we've got this development coming in this area. There's 1,000 acres that's going to be turned into retail, office, new construction. Here's what that means to the local person. So I'm not trying to get online and just be a news person. I'm trying to get online and say, here's what it means to homeowners. I want to be synonymous with Orlando real estate. And so I'm telling the news, and it's like, hey, there's 80 million people visiting Orlando on a yearly basis. What does that mean for homeowners? So tomorrow I'm actually going to the the Orange County Convention Center. There's like 2 million square feet there. They have hundreds of millions of dollars of economic impact. What the heck does that mean for the local Orlando person? Why does it matter? And if you figure out the job engine behind it, and then bringing up, this is why people are moving here. This is how you can then maybe as a business owner consider moving here, create jobs, which then allows us to sell more real estate.
So you're a digital, I mean, you're like a content creation middleman between boring old like ways of telling things that are happening, and you're like, well, what's the angle for the average person? Like, why should anyone care about this? These are the questions you would probably ask yourself.
That's right. And so for me, we're taking that news and like Sylvia just said, hey, like, how do you bring in leads from this? Well, the idea is that you watch the news for any kind of reason, right? And usually there's ads in between. It's usually like pharmaceutical, ED medicine, like all different kind of stuff. Joe, are those ads usually free?
Like ED medicine ads?
Yeah, your ED. I mean,
they cost
like ads in general.
I guess. Yeah,
ads in general are extremely expensive, and so people are watching traditional media.
To run.
Sure. Yeah. And so for us, we're inserting Pozek Group everywhere you can. So like in the description, we're having people sign up on our newsletter. We're having everywhere. This video is sponsored by the Pozek Group. If you're looking to buy or sell a house anywhere in Central Florida, we want to be your real estate resource of choice. Visit theorlandoreal.com/YouTube to get started. And that's it. And from that, we're getting a ton of people reaching out.
And that's an interesting angle. So you're using your real estate team to sponsor your content creation of information that matters to people.
That's right.
So it's you're telling the story as Ken, the guy that lives in Orlando that cares about his family and other families, but it's sponsored by your real estate team and you're directing people to it. I think that's brilliant.
Ken, somebody's asking if you use any what people search for stat sites.
We don't. I mean, for me, I try to go hyper local on everything. And so it's just, what's the news happening? And so I will organically end up in everyone's search that cares about local. And so sometimes if, I know Joe in the intro, we were talking briefly about sort of like the Universal and Disney stuff, but like, honestly, a lot of that is outside. Like people all over the world care about that. I'm actually more like, wildly enough, here's an interesting one, Joe. I'll share this with you right now. So we did one on H Mart. I don't know if you guys have H Mart where you're at, but it's this super popular Asian grocery store. And it was like, this is a very, very niche story that every, traditional media company picked up, but we were the ones that did a quick video snippet on it. It got shared 14,000 times, saved 1,700 times, had 355,000 organic views about a local grocery store opening in our area.
And this is an Instagram reel.
This is an Instagram reel. Actually, this was a carousel.
No boosts, nothing.
No boosts, no nothing. Completely organic. Because I feel like, we're in this interest economy now where, it's not even the followers that you have that matter. It's really the algorithm is feeding up what people care about more than anything. And so I want to show up in the feed of people that care about Orlando or the greater Orlando area. And so we're putting content out that feeds that as well.
Love it.
All right. Let's talk more as we kind of think through some of this other stuff, more traditional YouTube kind of piece, because I still think YouTube works extremely well today. Can I talk just as we wrap up, maybe like the 5 pieces of content or 6 pieces of content that are crushing it lead wise for us right now?
Love it.
Cool. So this is a video I did, super popular, had 2 million views, almost 2 million views, got me 2,900 subs. But this is inside Shaq's home here in Orlando. Now, I wasn't the listing agent. I was not, I literally reached out to the listing agent. He lives here in Orlando, or used to live here in Orlando. And I said, hey, you've got this listing. It's listed for $16 million. You're the 3rd real estate agent on it. Can I bring my videographer out? I've got a huge following. By the way, at the time, I think I had like 6,000 subscribers. Wasn't huge at all, but I just was like, act as if. I'm like, I'm going to bring my videographer out, do a video. Would that be okay? And she said, absolutely. I need to get as much coverage on this as I can. So we go and do Shaq's tour. We get all of these people out to see it. But did I sell the house? No, but we sold multiple $1 million homes from this video, because you're putting out content that positions you in a place where you're like, hey, I know luxury. I know if you want to be the first time home buyer expert, I know first time home buyer experts, because you're putting out that type of content. So the idea here is, don't get caught up in this idea that it has to be your listing or it has to be. Put out content that attracts the kind of clients that you want to attract. And that it literally is that easy for us. The next thing I'm doing, this actually goes back to the media side, is I put out one of these every single quarter. It's big projects this could be Dallas, it could be freaking Kansas City, by the way. One of the things people ask often is like, does this work because it's Orlando? Well, yeah, but I also see people in like little tiny towns in Virginia or Kansas City. I've got a friend of mine. Kansas isn't super sexy, not a big relo market, if you will, and yet he's absolutely crushing it with this play because, again, people care about their town, they care about local. This video constantly is, every time I put a new one out, it does extremely well. This last one I did had 107,000 views, brought in 1,200 subs, and multiple leads have mentioned specifically this video. And so I'm just literally telling the news. I sit right here in my office and I say, hey, here's the 5 projects coming to Orlando that are completely going to change the landscape of what's going on here. And then again, by the way, if you're looking to buy or sell a house anywhere in Central Florida, my team and I want to be your resource of choice. Here's how you reach out. And those are doing extremely well. Any questions on that?
How much time do you spend, Ken, ingesting information and news yourself that you can then regurgitate?
That's a great question.
I was actually just going to ask that.
So I time block Wednesdays. So literally after this, I've got a time block of 90 minutes that I'm going through, and I'm going to go through all the news of the day. I use a couple of different news aggregators, but something super free, just using Google alerts around your area, your town, and kind of going through of like what's actually happening is a really easy way to crush it that way. And so for me, I'll ingest all of kind of what's going on. And then on Thursdays, we have time blocked with my videographers. We're going to either be in the field or here in my office, and we're going to talk about the news and or whatever our next video is going to be.
Does anyone ever call you out on your opinions? Like when you're sharing your opinions of what something's going to do to your market, are they like, you have no idea, H-Mart sucks? Or like, yeah, I mean,
H-Mark's the worst. No, yeah, I think I don't talk about politics, religion, and I try not to lean one way or the other. I will tell both sides of the story. So I'm like, hey, so some people hate development. Like in our area, like there's this very anti-developer movement, and yet the other half is like very pro. We want to see growth. We want to see new things happen. We want H-Mart. And so I'll say, like, hey, so H-Mart might display. Some people love H-Mart. And by the way, there's like a 5-hour wait when they opened outside, which is insane. But some
like
people,
Buc-ee's.
Yeah. Too. So some people love it, and other people are gonna, think that it's gonna displace some of the mom and pops. Let me know what you guys think. And so it gets comments going. It gets, both sides of the story engaged in the process.
Love that.
Cool.
Ken, what's your process for follow-up? Someone's asking about that.
Yeah, so it depends on where they're at, right? So we have an ISA department now, inside sales, and everything goes through them. And so it's like, hey, if somebody raises their hand and says, we want to buy a house now, then great, that gets in the agent's hands immediately. If it's more like, hey, just keep us updated on what's going on, then we'll continue to nurture them until they're ready to go. That's obviously new over the past few years. Before, I would just send everything to the agents and let them kind of nurture it. But as of right now, inside sales does a lot of it.
Ken, sorry, I should ask this question before. Are you a flex team? Do you pay for any leads, or are you doing this all yourself?
No flex.
Yeah, no flex, no realtor.com.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Do you pay for any of your YouTube views, or are you just paying for production?
Just for production, yeah. So we're a little bit heavier on the operation side compared to many, right? But we have basically no cost of sale on the lead. And so because of that, I can hire amazing humans and invest in the content. And here's the other thing, like now that you mentioned it, Joe, like we own our brand. Like Zillow's not coming to disrupt us or change our referral fee or, push us out one way or the other. I'm not worried about their whole Zillow home loan situation. Like none of that affects us because we own our brand. Now, just do algorithms change? For sure. And so that's why for us, bringing people off of the platforms and into our email newsletters world makes actually a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm very much the same with lead generation. We do old school Facebook leads, and I've just always wanted to own the process myself because nobody can flex. And, good for people to do it. But I love what Ken's talking about because he's not held captive to a Zillow Flex program that could go, hey, that 40% is now 45 or 50. And then you're having to figure out how to hire people at a really low split. So I love the independence of what you're doing.
One more thing, and then
Yep.
We'll kind of go back over here. All right, so here's what we've done. We've taken the media side and blend it with real estate. So what I was telling you about listings and then our other side, Joe, actually, I'd be curious your thoughts around owning that.
I saw this.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we kind of took if you guys follow Puberty or some of these other things, I think we pioneered this. I don't know if it's working really well for us though. So this is like a carousel post that we've been putting out here, and so every listing that we take, we try to create some sort of carousel that's not you don't see anything on here about bedrooms, baths, any of that sort of thing, but these are crushing. And so you can see this one got a 1,500 likes. I think it was sent out to like 400 or 500 people. This one in particular, my agent told me that we had directly 11 leads, 2 of which have BBAs already. And so one of the things we're just focusing on, how do we create these carousels with our listings or a neighborhood that kind of feel like they have some sort of newsworthiness to them. So thinking like a media company and making it look like, hey, somebody wrote an article about how great this city or the town or this house is really crushing it. And so, if you look at the yellow parts here, so Orlando pool home under 400,000 with no HOA. Okay, that actually is a price, but getting something with a pool home under 400 is really, really tough in our area. But it's Windermere, pool home with tiki theme lanai. It's 8 minutes from Wekiva Springs. It backs up to conservation. So we're trying to create these newsworthy style, 8 minutes from Starbucks, all of those kind of things, to where these get shared so well. Like we've tried every which way of a just listed or just sold, but treating it like a news company would, our media company would, to sort of tell a story about this house. These are crushing for us in terms of a lead flow and follower count.
And somebody asked if you're getting compensated by, like, do you get YouTube pay you for your videos and stuff that you're doing, or is your main source of revenue just real estate conversions?
Yeah, I mean, real estate conversations is it. So we've had plenty of people ask to be sponsors, and the more I think about it, the more I'm like, if someone pays me $1,000 for a sponsored post, and in that exact spot I could have had my real estate team is going to give me a much better ROI. So as of right now, we just push our real estate team.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Sorry, going back over here. All right. So then from us wrapping up, kind of like where do you start? I think this is one of the questions that you have. It all works, right? Like YouTube works, short form works, podcasts work, newsletters work. Like it all works. I think the biggest piece for me and for you guys to think through is picking one that you can be super consistent with and sticking with it until you are really good at it. Like whether it's YouTube or it's Instagram or you're doing these newsletters, like our newsletter crushes for us. We've got like 49,000 people on the newsletter database now that we've pulled from other sources like Instagram and YouTube. But we're putting that out twice a week. It's got a great open rate. It's got a lot of click-throughs for people looking to buy and sell a house, but it's very similar, very newsy. It's like, here's the new development. Here's the new bar that opened up. Here's the new restaurant that opened up. And by the way, if you're looking to buy or sell, here's our call to actions. In that. So I think where to start, you don't want to do all of this. You want to pick one thing that you can try to dominate for the next 6 to 12 months, whether that's Instagram, whatever it might be. And then you iterate a little bit at a time. If you guys go back, go on my YouTube channel, go look at the oldest ones. You can sort by visibility and look at the oldest date first. They're bad. They're really bad, but like every year I got a little bit better. Every video I tried to improve and analyze, why did this one do better? Why is the click rate on this one better? And so it becomes a little bit of a game. And I think that is where you guys will win instead of everybody else who typically gives up. Is this helpful?
Do you have a cadence, Ken? Yeah, 100%. How much? I mean, is it weekly? Is it daily? Like, what's your cadence
on posting or?
Yeah, posting.
Yeah, I mean, we put out 200 pieces of content a month. So at this point, it's a lot. So it's blogs, emails, YouTube videos. But like on YouTube, I started with one video a week and never stopped. And now we have multiple YouTube channels, and then we're posting multiple times a week on those channels. And so for me though, it's starting simple with what you can stick with for forever. So for me, it was like create a YouTube video, post every week forever, and then improve on that over time.
Do you teach your agents content creation, like agents on your team? Are you giving them the recipe, or are they mostly like, dude, let me just go sell houses and you make it rain?
Yeah, we've got a little bit of both. So we have some people that don't ever want to show their face, and that's totally fine. And then what we have is like we call it the social ambassador program. So if you want to be on social, because this is the interesting thing with the media side now, where we have at least once a day someone's reaching out to ask us to cover some event or do some interview or do something in the area, and I can't physically do them all. So I'm like, hey, if you want us to help grow your social following, then you show up on your social first. Go on your stories, talk about what's going on with your clients, talk about that sale you just had, talk about your kids, talk about whatever. But once I see you consistently showing up on social, then I'll invest back in you to be able to go to all of these events where you'll have a videographer follow you around. We grow our channel, you grow yours. It's been really good that way.
What's your newsletter cadence, Ken? Like, are you sending out something that has multiple pieces of information and links to multiple videos, or is it when you've got listing specific, it's going in just one newsletter? There's a couple people asking about newsletters.
So we started off once a week doing with all of it in one, where it was like news, real estate listings, everything all in one. We did that on Wednesday. It just typically was our best open rate day, and we'd send that out. Now we do it twice. We do a Wednesday's more like newsy, still with the call to actions throughout, but not as much real estate. And Sunday is our real estate edition, where it's like the top clicked house on our website. It's the, our newest listings for sure, interest rates. It's like a very like, remember like old school newspapers, it would be like the Sunday edition and here's what it was in it. So that's the way that we think about it. We do 2 a week now, Wednesdays and Sundays.
Awesome.
Yeah. So cross promotion, are you doing, when you create a piece of content, like, is it a YouTube video, you create YouTube shorts out of it, you create Instagram reels out of it, are you repurposing most of your content?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of what you'll see on my Instagram is either those carousels that I showed you guys or clips from my podcast. And my podcast is like a whole other world where, like, so Thursdays I go live at 7 o'clock. That's the second video that I post on my channel every week. So I go live at 7 o'clock and I just literally tell the news of the day. And here's the crazy thing. Like, you guys know how hard it is to get all of the people that have shown up on today's Zoom just to do that. Every Thursday I'll have between 100 and 200 people watch live, and then 5,000 to 10,000 people watch the replay within the next week. And it's all about
you just telling the Orlando news.
You telling the Orlando news. But again, how does it relate to real estate? And the comments while people are watching, they're like, hey, what do you think about Horizon West? Or what's your favorite builder in the area? Or so they're giving me content the entire time and I'm encouraging it. Like, hey, give me more questions. And then afterwards, our short form editor will grab the questions, turn them into 60-second clips. And that's literally how we've now grown our entire Instagram and TikTok with clips from the live show.
Are you still actively practicing real estate?
Yeah.
What's that?
Are you still practicing at all?
I do. I mean, I sold 19 houses this year for $40 million or something like that.
Mostly friends and family, or are you picking off leads as well?
Mostly past clients and Sphere, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you produce 200 pieces of content? What does your media team look like today? Marketing, editing?
Yeah.
Videographers?
We got 3 videographers on staff now, and that's like one is handling my account, one is handling real estate only content. So we're doing content for new listings and new areas with some of my agents, like I told you. And then the last one is more like kind of filler in between listing reels and some other stuff that we do. Then I've got a short form editor. So that's 4. I've got what we call our systems engineer. He's the guy that does like newsletters. He's now doing our fellow. We are retargeting some of the people that have watched our stuff and kind of dripping back on them with ads. And then we've got our social media and comms person, and then a graphics designer.
Awesome.
Love it. Where, like, step one for people? I mean, you've got such a great media staff yourself, but you probably do come across, I mean, are you a Captions app fan? Like, what would you recommend people use to get started? Because I think, going out and hiring a full-time videographer would be ridiculous for someone that's never done anything. So it's like, are you just go live on YouTube and then post it and then just start from there? Like, what's step one for somebody?
Yeah, I think if you pick your medium and start there. But I mean, I started with myself. My first 150 videos were my cell phone and me editing on iMovie. And then that turned into me hiring someone on Fiverr to edit my videos because my videos were kind of trash. And then it turned into me hiring a contract videographer to follow me around. And then it turned into me hiring my first videographer on staff, which turned into 2 and 3. And then, so it kind of like has built on itself over the past 6 or 7 years. But it all started with the cell phone. And there's so many great apps out. Yeah, CapCut's great. Captions app's great. There's just so many easy ways to create content there. I do believe for me, YouTube as a local real estate agent is still the play, even today. Like there's not like, this is the question I get asked often. It's like, oh, there's so many people doing YouTube. Yes. And there's more views on YouTube now than ever. There's like, YouTube TV.
Continue.
I'm watching NFL on TV now. Like there's on YouTube TV. It's a bigger brand.
We don't have satellite or cable. All we do is YouTube TV at our house. Yeah.
Exactly. So now's the time.
Yeah. Love it.
Someone's asking about your budget for retargeting.
I think we're up to $2,500 a month right now for retargeting. This is a new thing for us. We just started. But we're looking at it is amazing to watch how many people come back.
This is a super geeky question, and I'm not going to blame you if you don't have an answer. Do you have a cost per, like media cost per closing figure? Like, have you been able to figure out, like, all right, if we're spending $100,000 a month on content creation and whatever, $50,000 a month, like, do you have any idea how much it costs you to close a deal?
Yes, and so we've got a fractional CFO now, and we go through our P&L pretty tight. And so, like, I look at so do I have a per closing number? No, I look at my profit margin, and it's nearly 30%. So that's like a very high number compared to a lot of other
on a team.
That's
massive. Yeah,
on our team, with the numbers that we do.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. Guys, I think we should fill Ken's bucket. Can we drop?
Yes.
Yeah, let's like
go to the React button.
Take away.
Drop something in the chat. Go to the React button. You can click on that. You could click the celebration. You could click the hearts. You can click whatever. Give my guy some love, Ken. Dude, we're so grateful for you, man. It's great to have you at Real. We're just proud to be associated with you. And you and I can sit together at Rise every year and make somewhat snide remarks from time to time about things, and we'll just have fun.
As long as those snide remarks aren't about Raquel or
never about Amy.
That's right. Never about Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
That's for sure.
No.
Raquel and I want to have we have our backs. All right, Ken, thank you so much. We appreciate you. All right. Next up, you guys, if you thought that was fire, we are really excited for this next speaker. I don't really think he needs an introduction, but Neel Dhingra is our next keynote. He is the definition of somebody who has, bar none, exploded his entire personal brand and business because he delivered so much valuable, consistent content over the last number of years. He is the founder of Forward, a mastermind and an event community, both for real estate and mortgage marketers. And bar none, he is the greatest voice of authentic content creation in our industry right now. So get your notebooks and your pens ready, guys. We're so lucky to have Neel Dhingra with us today.
Thank you, Amy. This is so awesome to be here with you guys. Can everybody hear me, by the way? You guys good?
100%.
Yeah,
yes.
Perfect.
I made a reel the other day, Aim, with my hat on backwards and my glasses, and I was like, this is the most Neel video I've ever created.
Cool, like
awesome.
Neel.
Hey, man, you did a great job, Joe. And yeah, if that's what it takes to be real and authentic, we got to do whatever we got to do. So I'm so excited to be with you guys today. Thank you, Amy, for having me. This is awesome. Love collaborating with you and Joe. Shaleni, good to see you. I know she's going to be on a panel in a few minutes here. So this is going to be just great. And by the way, Ken, what Ken just taught you guys is so amazing. I'm actually going to take it a step further. But I would love to ask the group right now, how many of you, when you hear all these things presented, you feel overwhelmed? Just type a yes in the chat if you feel overwhelmed with all the strategies and different things you could be doing on a daily basis. Okay, so a lot of yeses. Yeah, I will tell you, I feel the same way on any given day. This feeling doesn't go away. You just learn to get better at living with it. So I feel like, and you guys tell me if you relate, our head is like a snow globe. You shake up those snow globes and there's just all these things everywhere. These are all the ideas, things we could be doing. Could be stuff family-wise, could be stuff business-wise, and there's so many things going on, right? And so a lot of times, this is the mistake I made earlier in my career in terms of when I was helping people in the industry grow. I would teach all these tactics, and I would give you guys stuff to do, and then very few people would do it. And I was like, oh, these people, I was talking to my wife one night, like this is like 4 years ago when I first got into this side of the business, because I spent the first 15 years and I still am on that side in production. And then I started helping people in the industry just as a passion project. And that turned into a business of the same size just by accident. So I'm kind of like an accidental influencer. I never wanted to be, but I just kind of accidentally became one. But all that to say is, as I was teaching, I was complaining to my wife one night. I'm like, these people aren't doing it. Like I'm only getting 20% of 10% of people sometimes. Why is that? I think they're just freaking lazy. These agents and these lenders, they're just lazy. And now she's like, Neel, no, they're probably, have some sort of barrier or something in a mental block. That's why they can't do it. And so what I finally learned after years of doing this is, like, if you ever are not taking action on something, it's not that you're lazy. That's not the issue. It's that you lack clarity. If you knew the next step, you would do it. The problem is everybody's on these calls, going to events, doing these things. You don't know what to do next. There's 17 things you could do next. So like, it's the same reason why when you sometimes open up Netflix, there's so many options that you spend 30 minutes looking for a movie to watch and then you don't watch anything. You go back to your phone. The thing is not that you didn't want to watch a movie, it's that you had too many options.
Yeah.
And so what I would love to do in the next 25 minutes is get some clarity on a next step that everybody here could take that would build your brand, your personal brand online, and also get you clients like Raquel talked about earlier. Not just content that gets views and likes, because last time I checked, you cannot deposit views and likes at the bank. I don't know if shit works different in Canada, Joe, but out here in Las Vegas, they do not accept these deposits. We need to have conversations. We need to have more real things. And so would it be cool if we got into that in 20 minutes and you guys got some clarity? Anybody interested in this, let me know. Yes, in the chat. If that is of interest to you today, I just want to make sure I'm in the right place. Yes.
For sure.
The paradox of choice. Yeah, you said it much more eloquently than I can, Shaleni, but that is so true. This is the issue right now. So let's get out of this paralysis analysis. Complexity is the enemy of execution. The more complex the plan, the fewer people will do it. Everybody wants simple, right? No more snow globe. Let's let all those snowflakes come down, okay? Let me share my screen, and I've got some stuff for you guys. And then again, just like Ken said, you have questions, let's just make this a conversation. This is a good group today. Like, I love working with Amy and her people, because you guys are action takers. You want to learn, you not just learn, but you want to do stuff. And so if you have something, you're like, yo, I like that idea. How exactly would I put, just blurt it out in the chat and we can address it. This is not like a formal thing. So let me see if I can share this. I will tell you guys, the thing that helps me the most, just from a action taking, while we're on this topic of action taking, right, is I have this motto, okay, and it is you guys can see my screen now, right?
It says you started sharing, but there you go. Yep.
Okay.
You're good.
So I got this thing. It's like I got big plans for what I want to do, but I'm going to make small progress. Okay. And this is like the motto for me. It's just like, what can we do today to take action? Somebody asked me the other day, Joe, they're like, bro, at Rise, they were like, what's your 5-year plan? Like, what do you want to do in the next 5 years? I'm like, bro, I have no freaking idea what I want to do in the next 5 years. I do know what I would like to do today. And I kind of have an idea what I'd like to get done this week, but I have no freaking clue what I'm going to be, where I'm going to do in 5 years. I just know this. If I continue to build my brand and I continue to grow, I'll have so many opportunities in 5 years I can't see straight, because that's what's happened in the last 5 years. And so just think about this as we continue this process. You don't need to know all the details of everything. We just need to make something happen today, this week. I'm going to make sure actually,
because I think so many times we get so caught up in trying to figure out the long-term plan, and not even just our industry, but like entrepreneurial goal setting, whatever, like they preach like, what's your 3-year, 5-year, 10-year vision? I'm like, I can't think that far ahead.
yeah, like I do think you need to be going the right direction.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if you're going the wrong direction, it's hard to turn around. Like now you have to backtrack. But there's something to be said for let's just figure out some small goals. The other thing about small progress, Amy, now that you brought this up, is our brains are very trainable, and so you think about this. If you're putting up points on the board, if you're winning this week, it puts you in momentum. If the goals are so big that you don't even feel like you're on track, you feel like a loser, you know? And so I just want to be a winner at the end of the day. I want to be like, okay, I got something, I made progress today. That makes me feel like I'm winning, and that's a good momentum to get into. So, you know, basically, I'm talking about a lot of times people, I love this graphic because a lot of times people are like, hey, how'd you get this opportunity? How'd you get this opportunity? And people will call it luck. Well, it is. There are a lot of lucky things that happen to Ken Pozek. There's a lot of lucky things that happen to me, Amy, Joe, all these people, right? Why? Because we have a larger net for luck. So there's 4-leaf clovers hanging around every day. Like, but you just need to increase the surface area of where you could attract these lucky opportunities. So yes, I want to tell you guys how to land a deal today, a new partner, a new recruit, whatever you guys are doing. But at the same time, I want you to think bigger. Like, there's an opportunity where you're going to connect with somebody who's going to give you the entire development. That happened in my group just recently. Somebody was just trying to get their next deal, building their personal brand, putting in the reps. And then somebody in their market in Seattle, Washington said, hey, Emily, love your content. Let's meet. And then he offered her the relationship to sell the entire building, right? Like, don't ignore the fact that like there's going to be some lucky moments that happen if you just increase the size of your net. Okay. So that's just a frame for this conversation today. And the other
Amy,
thing,
think about what Neil
ahead,
said. Like, what's your 5-year plan? I don't know, but I know what I'm going to do today. I know I'm going to continue to create, and that's going to give me more options in 5 years than I could possibly handle. And I'm going to crush it. Like, that's so different than heading down a path with one plan, and if it doesn't work, you're screwed. And I just love that mentality. That's so good.
Yeah, just think like we're winning today. Like already on this call, 250 of us are winning because we showed up today and we're learning from the best people. We're all collaborating. We're having these conversations. The rest of the industry is doing God knows what, right? So we are winning today, and let's just keep the momentum. The other thing I want to make sure you guys understand is, you know, we can watch and learn all day, but the biggest benefit you're going to have is when you try to make something, you post something. So I was just chatting with Amy, like just me and Amy's in my mastermind. We were working on some stuff together, and she's like, you know what? I got away from making these selfie type videos. And then I was like, why? You should do one. And then she's like, you know what? I'm like a little shaky on it because I'm out of practice on that type of content. She posts a lot of amazing content, but on that type of video, she hadn't done one in a while. And so I was proud of her because she just literally went in the car and did it the next day. And it wasn't like her best one. She's like, yo, I feel like I'm behind a little bit on this. I'm like, but you learn so much. Am I right, Amy? You learn more from making it than us talking about doing it.
Absolutely. And as soon as you do it, you're just like, okay, let's do the next one and just get ready.
Yeah. So I would just encourage you guys, if you hear an idea that Ken said, you hear an idea I said, or you hear on the panel coming up and you're like, you know what? I think that I like that. I think I could do that. That is an indication you need to go make that video. Okay. And you will learn so much by doing it. People ask me, hey, Neel, what's your feedback on this thing? I'm working on it. I'm like, dude, ask for feedback on your attempts, not your like, not on the, ask for feedback on the actual thing, not just the idea. The idea is useless. You know, we all have ideas, but let's just try and make it and then let's see it. The other thing I told
Amy,
you,
your interactions have gone through the roof just doing what Neel told you to do. I've watched your content for 15 years. And over the last couple of weeks, since you guys had that conversation, you're creating this raw and organic content in the comments. People are blowing up and like validating what you're saying and agreeing with you and adding their feelings. And I'm like, dude, what is she doing? And it all came from that simple principle of
I'm
just
listening
do
to
stuff.
my coach. I'm listening to my coach, Neel.
Exactly.
And then also, Joe, I noticed you've been doing like I saw you like to the hat backwards.
I'm just
point.
copying
Amy.
Amy.
Airport. You're just
My car broke down.
They did fast
Yeah.
execution on Neel's learning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. There you go. So the perfection is the enemy of execution. There is something to be said right now for lower production value. If it's too produced, it's getting less views on social, unless that's your thing. Like if Ken Pozek's studio, that's his brand is like a certain look, then that can be your thing. If that's not your thing, then real could be your thing. Like real, the brokerage obviously, but then also real, just being authentic and being honest, right? So I'm producing 60% of the content with just the iPhone now. And it's getting more views than we have a $5,000-$6,000 camera set up here. So don't worry about all the gear unless you are a gearhead and that's your thing. The other thing I want to share with you guys today is I'm going to give you a few small tweaks that give you big leaps. So it's not the reason why I love content marketing so much is we can literally change one thing on your video and it can 10x the reach. It can double the reach, quadruple the reach, whatever it is for you. And so where else can we do that? You can't make 10 times the calls today, but I could give you a strategy for the first 3 seconds of your video that will 10x the amount of people you speak to. That's huge, right? So just think about this. This is the continuum that kind of changed my whole life when I understood this. It changed my business, then it changed my life. I realized that I was talking to people too late in this continuum. So you have people online who are never going to be interested in what you talk about. They're never going to buy it from you. They're never going to be into what you're doing. Then you have on the opposite side of the spectrum, the ready now. These are the people that are ready to transact now. They're ready to learn about whatever it is that you're teaching now. I would say 95%, maybe 97, 98% of our industry speaks to just the now group. And it's just this sliver at the end of this continuum. And so if you're just talking to that group, you're missing out on 80% of the not yet people. These aren't people who are saying no. They're just not yet interested. So this is the part where I think, changed for everything. Change the game for me is I started speaking to that middle group with one-to-many marketing. Now, one-to-one marketing is the calls you make, the closing of the stuff. That's the stuff you speak to the now. But you need to also have a strategy for the not yet crowd, because this is where the money's at. This is where brands speak. Do you ever notice how like brands, the longer somebody's been following you, the longer they've known about you, the bigger and bigger they get. Why is Zillow attracting so many leads despite all the lawsuits, despite all the things? Well, people, they speak to the not yet group. And so why is Ken winning? Because he speaks to the not yet group. If you don't speak to the not yet group on a consistent basis with one-to-many marketing, you will always have a problem in business. This will always keep you stuck at a certain level. And so if you leave with nothing else, please embed this into your brain. I need to have a strategy for this. And this is what we're talking about. The best marketers in the whole world have figured out how to make that not yet crowd feel smarter, not sold to. You're not supposed to sell to that middle group yet. We can sell to them later as we move them along. Now, the greatest thing about content is it can move people along the continuum for you. And it's just crazy how like somebody could be 2 or 3 questions away from getting into the now, but we never speak to them, right? And you're just waiting for them. Now, the problem for me is if you, and many of you here, if you wait to speak to people when they're in the right now, you're just one of many people they could work with. When you connect with people in the not yet, and then they move into the now, you're the only person they want to work with. And so this protects your margins. This makes the competition go away. Okay. So I know there's all this talk in real estate and mortgage and other industry as well as like, hey, the amount of commissions we're going to make is continuing to decline. Well, why is it that the best people don't have to cut their commission? Because they have brand, right? So yes, there's always going to be those, shoppers and things like that. But for the most part, you can work with primarily people that want to work with you. And the other thing I realized is attention is going to those who educate, not just advertise, right? The most attention right now, and this is a big shift for 2026 as we head into here. Like brands understand this, but individual salespeople don't. It's David versus Goliath. But in this case, David can win because we can execute a new playbook. So I have a framework for you guys today. I love teaching in frameworks because more memorable. And you guys will more likely to take action. So I have this framework. I just started teaching this as a new one because it was working so well. I've been using it by accident for many, many years, but when I finally put it into a framework, it really crushed. It's called MOVE, okay? We need to move people through that continuum. And so we got to make them notice us. Then we got to offer them clarity. Then we got to have good vibes, whether that's a hat, whether that's you sharing your personal life, little bit about you. And then we need to enable the next step. Now, most people are just literally doing the E and they're wondering, why is it not working? Because you skipped all the other steps. Okay. So let's get I want people when they watch your stuff to go from like, hey, this is helpful to I want to work with you. Like that's the person I want to work with. There's something a shift you need to make in the content to do this. So the first step, make them notice. One of the ways you can make people notice is instead of coming across as the expert, you can simply make an observation. Okay, so let me clarify this. Like normally what people will do in our industry is they'll start off a video on Instagram and they'll say, hey, this is the number one thing you need to do if you want to buy a home this year or sell a home this year. these are the top 3 things you need to know before you get into contract or when you write your contract. Okay, cool. That's coming across you as the expert. And I understand people on this group, like you guys have many, many years of experience. Like we are experts. I've been doing this 20 years. I'm definitely an expert. But when people are watching your content, if you want your content to reach new people, you'll notice that the majority of the viewers are seeing you for the very first time. They don't know anything about you yet. So they don't think of you as the expert. So the way to work around this is to make an observation. So I would say this strategy is going viral right now, and it's for good reason. Let me share it with you. Or this buyer, this is what smart buyers are doing today before they write their contract. And this is taking the market by storm. Like that's an observation. Now you can insert your expertise into that video, but you start off with an observation. Okay, so let me show you how I do this. Sometimes I'll take a headline and then I'll make an observation about what's going on. All right, so we have breaking news in real estate right now. Mortgage rates have dropped from around 7% all the way down to the low 6s. And so here's what that means as a buyer. If you were thinking about buying a home and you were getting
can we just do CreatorCon every day?
Around 7%. That's about $3,300 a month. Now that same $500,000 loan, because rates have dropped to the low 6s.
So good.
I don't know if can you guys hear my video and see it?
We cannot.
Oh, I can't.
Yes.
Oh, you can't. Joe, you couldn't hear it?
Nope. That's fine. Oh, I'm clicked on it. I just have you highlighted, bro. I didn't see the whole thing.
Okay. So yeah. So what I was saying was I'm making an observation, then I'm teaching some numbers. Now, what I found is not only will consumers get the information, but I just kind of screen recorded this when I did this particular video 2 weeks ago. So many people in your industry, so many people in your market will share your content because you're the person sharing the information that they didn't say, or that you did it better than the news. You broke it down for everybody. And so you'll find that so many people will share your stuff when you do it this way. Another way I'm doing this is through carousels. I know Ken touched on this, but for some of you on the group, in the call today who don't want to make videos, so you're like, Neel, video is a big thing. Like you can literally just do this in the form of carousels. Start off with an observation. So look at this first slide on the carousel, a pattern I can't unsee, something I noticed. That's an observation. When I make an observation on a carousel, it goes 5x, 10x the reach. Okay? Like I just did this carousel about my trip to Rise, and I said I noticed something about my wealthiest friends, and then I taught something in there about business. Now, this could also be about real estate. It could be you in front of a property. It could be you with one of your clients. I noticed this one common trait amongst my wealthiest clients. I noticed this one common trait among my the investors that did the best in the market.
Homes that are actually selling right now.
About the guy who owns 100 property or 50, whatever, like who's done the best with real estate, right? So you can share success, but not from the expert, just what you notice. It takes away that whole, like people, whether they say this out loud or not, they're thinking, why should I watch Joe? Why should I watch Amy? Who are they to tell me? And so I had this conversation with somebody at the bar at this event I just spoke at Rise. She said, Neel, would you please review my content? And it was one of the people that in Amy's group, I think. I don't know. I can't remember.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, she was like, hey, could you please, first of all, she said, just no shade. Like I can joke about it because it's kind of funny. She's like, hey, I don't want to interrupt you guys' dinner. I literally had like food in my mouth, and she's like, hey, but would you do this right now? And I'm like, okay, you are interrupting our dinner, but yes, I will help you. And so she took over our dinner, all that to say. And it was fine though, because I love teaching and she could tell. So we were going through her whole thing, and I noticed that everything was expert content and everything felt like a lecture. I'm like, can I be honest with you? Everything you're writing here just feels like you're talking at me. Like, I don't feel like you're meeting me where I'm at. I don't feel like you're sharing any helpful information. So just put yourself in the audience shoes. Like, would they like take down your expert hat and just like put yourself in a more humble position, and you will see all the views go up, because it just takes away that whole objection up front. Now, in the slides, as I get further along, I put my expertise in there. So that's the trick. And I know this is kind of like maybe a little bit nuanced for people on this call, but I want to give you guys the real deal, because this is working today. This is not like, literally, I just stumbled onto this in the last few months, and it's absolutely crushing. It will crush for you as well. Okay. Now, if you don't want to make fancy ones, I'm telling you, this is not fancy. This is a Twitter format. I screenshot my tweets all the time and use it, or I just make this in Canva. Who makes these on our team? Our big fancy team. I made this shit last night in Canva. Okay. There's no team on this particular post. So yes, we have a team to help me with stuff, but also, I do a lot of stuff myself. And I know a lot of people on here are solopreneurs or you're a one-man show in terms of market. Maybe you have an assistant, that's fine. But like some of this stuff, you know, you can just make it in the app or in Canva. This is literally just like I look on Canva, I'm like, hey, can you give me like a resume paper background or some kind of textured background, and then I type text on it. It's like that simple, guys. Don't overcomplicate this. And yes, you can make a process and delegate it, but you need to know how to do it. You know, you need to be able to, you get inspired one night, you need to be able to make a post so it can be up in the morning.
So Neel, I'm excited about, you said you've seen a little bit of a trend toward, I don't want to say quick and dirty, but like less professional. Like,
let me tell you why, Joe.
Yeah.
This is, look at the, don't just like, this is not just Neel trying to be the expert. And I am a little bit of an expert, but I'm learning every day. But I will tell you this. I look at the biggest creators. What are they doing? People who have invested in like 10 people on their team. People like Dan Martell was at my event. He has 7 people just working on his own content. And I noticed they're trying to make it look like it was made in the app, even if they use other things. So like this bubble is like what it would look like on Instagram. I found the text. I literally Googled what is the text that looks like Instagram classic text? Because it needs to look like you just made it in the app. So even you can just make it, you can make it in the app. You can literally type this on each image. It lets you do that inside of Instagram. But if you want to make it in a separate app, make it look like it was done in the app. That's what everybody's doing. And you can use fancier pictures. That's fine if you want, but sometimes it's just a pictures from my phone. Okay.
Because in a digital world, we're almost craving authenticity. Like where we can't tell if videos are AI or not. It's like, well, obviously this isn't AI. Look at what like he's just talking in his car.
Yeah, and you want to make yourself not replaceable through AI. Like if AI could have made it, then it's just like it's becoming noise right now, Joe. Yeah. There's literally a call to like arms from the audience on all these platforms to have a button. People are wanting this. They're going to be, and it might even come true, where you can turn AI off your feed. Hey, I don't want any AI generated content in my feed. I want the real deal. Like that's, people are getting, it flipped so quick to where, you know, there's all these AI made videos. The crazy thing is like, I could make a video right now through AI of me, Amy, and Joe on freaking Air Force One, talking about this, doing this, like, and it would look 1000% real. And that's cool. But like when it got to the point where anybody could do that, it became worthless. Yeah. You know, it's become like, so there is an opportunity for creators to like use AI to do some cool stuff, but now the pendulum is switching the other way, where there's a larger and growing percentage of the audience that wants real content. They don't want the AI slop. Which,
correct me if I'm wrong, Neel, but it creates an opportunity for someone who, like Amy, is willing to have a conversation with you, walk out to her car, turn the camera on, and just shoot. Like,
yeah, because not many people can do that. You would think it's easy, and like any creator here will tell you it's not. Like if you look at my camera, I take 7 shots of that video in the car because I mess it up the first 6 times, and then I think I look dumb and all the things. Like we all go through that, and then you finally just say, you know what, that's good enough. I'm gonna post it. F it.
Which puts it back into
America. I gotta go get my kids. Like we gotta go. Like let's go.
It reestablishes meritocracy, which is exciting. Because if you're one of those people who are like, okay, it may not be perfect, but I'll try it. I'll grow and I'll learn. Like you're then putting yourself into a meritocracy to where if it's just a video of me and Neel and Amy standing on Mount Everest, like holding up a flag that has Raquel's name on it that we AI generated, it's like, okay.
Well, dude, it was cool. Like a year ago, that video, that image or thing was cool. They're like, wow, how'd you make that? Let me learn the trick. Now it's like, oh shit, people are numb. That's how fast the world moves right now, by the way. Yeah. So this is the tried and true thing that will work no matter what new AI tool comes out, because I can't keep up with all the new AI tools. I literally have fatigue. You know, there's so much shit coming out. So this is for you if you feel like me. Okay. Now the other trend that you need to really, really tap into if you want to get more views and more brand awareness right now and more clients is to make the audience feel smarter. The smartest marketers, like I told you earlier, make that middle group, the not yet crowd, feel smarter. So when I share observations, when I share what a millionaire told me or a multimillionaire told me or a billionaire told me and my take on it, that makes them feel smarter. When I share news, that makes them feel smarter. When I break down things that were complex, don't ever make the audience feel dumb. You lose when you talk down to people. Okay. Now, Ken brought up local, so I want to just give you a piece of local content that I made. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. Some people are like, "How do you live in Las Vegas with all this casino?" I'm like, "Bro, it's 20 minutes. We live in a golf course community. It's beautiful." Like just for anybody here, Las Vegas is not
Vegas is
strip.
dope, everybody. Come
Yeah,
join
it's
us.
a really cool spot. So anyways, I was like, well, I need to let more people know how cool Las Vegas is and what are the cool things happening. So I love that Ken talked about churning on news alerts. So I saw a local Las Vegas account that I follow posted like, here's the cool things happening in Vegas.
All right, so this is freaking crazy. By 2028, Las Vegas is going to have a high-speed rail connecting Southern California and Vegas. It's only going to take 2 hours to go back and forth. You got a Major League Baseball team coming. You got NBA team coming. This is in addition to...
So literally all I did here was just talk about the cool things that are happening in Las Vegas. I didn't even have time to memorize the script. I just read it from my phone. Like I'm literally looking at my phone as I'm talking, but I use this observation thing of like, here's a known Las Vegas account that's putting out this headline, and I put that in the front of my video. And so when you do this, the video, this is not with any paid, it'll do really well. Like I just made one attempt just to prove the point that it works to my audience, and it crushed. And the comments are super rich with people with their opinions, whether they like Las Vegas, whether they don't like Vegas. And it also, the algorithm is so dialed in, it shows it to people who are considering your area. So the people that are thinking about moving out there. So there's literally, if you go to the post on my feed, there's deals happening in the comments. And I got so busy and lost in the sauce that other vulture, the vultures come out. They were picking up the deals in my comments. Like, so they went into my comments and someone's like, hey, what's the best area? And then somebody swoops in and goes, you know what? I'll be happy to show you homes. And then like, there's just deals happening. I think there's like 600 comments or something. And I believe that this post generated multi-six figures in business. I was doing a case study and I just by accident generated that business. So if you wanted like to, take my example here and crush it for yourself.
Hey, Neel, how much time do you spend? Is the typed out caption on this video literally, do you love Las Vegas? Or do you spend time also on the...
Oh, yeah. Bro, this is great. There's a gal in my group. She's like, Neel, you know what? I said, what prevents you guys from posting more? And everybody has their thing. And she goes, Neel, you know what really prevents me? It's after I do the video, I don't know what to write in the caption.
I hate that part myself.
So, I said, Sally, please just leave the caption blank and post the video. Like, it doesn't matter what you write in the caption. You could write something nice. You could not. You could put a call to action. You could put a hashtag. You could not. It doesn't. If you look at when you scroll reels, it only shows you the first line of the caption. So level like, advanced level is let's make that first line another hook. What do you love
the
about
algorithm's
Vegas?
The algorithm's
it'll
going to pick up what you say anyways. It's not
Yeah, but like
I always
I'm
thought
just
it
saying,
needed the captions.
It does. It analyzes what's in your video. So like the text is already being analyzed now.
So it's really interesting. A girl in the chat says that she rarely reads the captions and just watches the video. Whereas I'm the opposite. I read the captions and don't watch the video. So
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think it's very important on like feed posts, like carousels. People do read the captions because that's a feed experience. But in reels, you only see the first line. You would have to click it open to read the full caption. Now, I do read it when prompted to or when I want to go deeper. So I think it's important to type something, but if it's
not if it's
just
keeping
type
you from
one
creating
line.
content.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
just type something. And Kelsey asked a good question. Is it good to use keywords? Yes. So if you want, just summarize your video in the caption. Like I noticed the biggest creators just for SEO purposes, because these videos can appear in Google when people search, especially local stuff. Like, so you could just literally summarize what you said in the video into the caption, just to be clear. I barely type anymore, guys. I use Whisper Flow.
Whisper's good.
Cody Sanchez told us about this at my Forward event this summer, which, by the way, anybody here on this call, were you at Forward this year? Or
Yes.
there were several people there, but we had Cody Sanchez, and she told us, she's like, hey, you need to use, like, stop typing. It's wasting your time. And so I was like,
Whisper Flow is an AI generated. You can just talk into it and it'll make sense of what you're actually saying. Where like
and it types
Apple's
it better. It
built-in
types
one-
it better than you would type it.
Yeah, because Apple's built-in one will tell people to go F themselves when you say like, do you want a cheeseburger?
Yes,
Stuff.
that's
It's
the
crazy.
problem. Voice to text is broken so many times, and then you end up having to fix it. Whisper Flow gets it right the first time. So again, we're making the audience feel smarter, telling them the stuff that they missed. Hey, did you guys see this? you missed the news. There's a new team coming to Vegas. There's a new development here. I know people in our group, and you guys have seen them, where their entire content strategy is making the audience feel smarter about the local market. Is this, by the way, let me know in the chat, is this helping you guys? Is this stuff that would help you? Is anybody getting some of those ideas on what you?
So what you mean by make them feel smarter is make them feel educated to the market, not necessarily like validating they're already intelligent.
Yeah, both. There's both, like level 101, just make them know about something that they didn't know about. That makes me feel smarter, Joe. But then the second thing is like, you know what, Joe, if you haven't bought a home yet and you feel like you missed out on this train that just left the station years ago, dude, I feel you. I'm right there with you. Validating. I wish I would have bought Bitcoin 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I wish I would have put more money in the S&P 500 5 years ago. But you know what? It's investing. The best investors are not looking backwards because we're not going that way. They're evaluating what's ahead for us. And so this really helped me, and I hope it helps you, but I think we should look at what's the future. So that's me not telling you you're dumb for not buying a home 5 years ago. That's me telling you, dude, I feel your pain, and here's what we should do about it.
Yep. Love it.
Let's make people feel like, let's meet people where they're at. Let's make them feel smarter, not dumber. Okay.
Yep.
If you make people,
we just have a couple of minutes left, so let's let wrap.
I'm just going to wrap this up. The other thing I was just going to share with you guys is you need to share your unique point of view. Okay. So I just have this kind of intersection. There's you and there's a POV. If you don't share your point of view on this stuff, eventually it becomes noise. Like it just gets, if you're saying the exact same thing like everybody else in the exact same way, it's just noise. It's going along with the AI slop thing I talked about earlier. So I would just encourage you guys to share some things. And one prompt I would love to give you today is like, what's one thing that you believe that others won't say out loud? You know, in our market, the one thing I've noticed that realtors won't say is that home prices are going down. Okay. Like it's weird. I guess you signed a code or of ethics or something. It's in the honor thing that says you can never say that home real estate prices falter. And, you know, and I ask people why they don't. And it's because they're scared of scaring away buyers from the market. They also don't want to offend any listings that they have or prevent any listings. But there's a way of sharing this. You can show a chart of like some of the best stocks, the best investments, and they have bumps along the way. Those are pullbacks, and smart people use these pullbacks to get in the market. Like this is what we do. So I would share that. And then I have a whole nother framework. You know, if we had more time, I would kind of go through this stuff, but I have a framework on, you know, what you would share to connect with people and what you would do this. And so this is just the most important part was getting them to move down this line, this continuum. And I'm happy to share this with you guys on a future call, or if you want to DM me, there's more to it than just what I shared you. But that is the part that I've noticed is missing the most is there's not enough helpful content. There's not enough content that makes your audience feel smarter on your page. And so they don't view you as the expert. They don't build that trust with you. And so I would just encourage you, if you take nothing else away from today, is like, what's a piece of content you could post that would bring some unique perspective and some unique information to your audience and make them feel smarter. If you do that, you're going to be moving people along. You're going to be speaking to the right group, and you're going to be moving people along that continuum to working with you.
So good.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I think like there's so many opportunities for this right now in terms of, you know, like Emilio just said, it's a good time to buy Bitcoin right now. Yeah. Like that's a great opportunity. Like talk about the real estate market in your area and what people are doing, some unique things that they're doing. I think a lot of us say we take what we know for granted, and you say no for the audience. I have this thing on my desk, Amy, and I'll leave you guys kind of with this thing. It says, stay ready and don't say no for the audience. So I'm ready for opportunities. Like I'm not waiting for some news to hit to get good at making news videos. I'm not waiting for interest rates to come down or for this to happen in order to make that video about what's going on or what's the effect. I'm just doing it. And then what happens is, like, this is going to happen for all of us. There's going to be opportunities that come your way. And I have so many stories of this happening, Amy, where somebody reached out with a potentially business or life-changing opportunity. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I was able to capitalize on it was because I was ready.
Yeah.
Like people think you need to learn more before you do the thing. I need to gather more information before I'll do X. That's not the way this shit works. You need to make a decision first, and then you will find all the information. You just need to decide, I'm going to do something different than the rest of my competition. I'm going to really invest in my personal brand. I'm going to play a game that everybody else is unwilling to play. And then I'm going to get around the people who are doing it. I'm going to learn this. And you'll find the universe just like brings you the resources. It's like a green light to the world to bring you these opportunities. But if you haven't made that decision yet and you're half-assing it, or you just dip your toe here and there and then you go back to not doing it, it won't happen for you. So I would encourage people here to make the decision and then just be clear. Let's get clarity. Let's not have the snow globe anymore. Let's get some clarity here so we can see what we're doing and moving forward. And then as far as don't say no for the audience, so many phones die in our camera roll, because we said no for the audience. And I will just tell you from my experience, and any creator on this call will tell you the same, that there are videos and posts that you thought you shouldn't post, but then you pushed past fear and you just sent it. And, unless it's something inappropriate, because I don't want to get anybody in trouble here, but, barring that situation, you ended up getting some cool opportunity from it or some great conversation from it. And if you had said no for the audience, that wouldn't have happened. I've had something happen that was literally a fork in the road for me because I didn't say no for the audience. I went ahead and posted it. So I would encourage you guys to do more of that, and you'll see great things happen.
So good, Neel.
Neil, what do you say to, we just had someone ask, what if you don't like showing your face on videos? Can you still be successful, or do you really need to show yourself?
I love the fact that Marina said that, because she's saying her true barrier, which is I'm just having a hard time with the video thing. Okay, cool. You admit it. Awesome. So do the carousels, take pictures, take selfies, take pictures of what you're doing. It can be, and if you don't have the picture, you can literally have, I would encourage you to have ChatGPT make you graphics. So find a picture of yourself that you don't hate. That's sometimes how it works for all of us, right? We're just okay, I kind of like that one. That's acceptable. And drop that into chat and say, make me a cartoon style graphic, make me a charcoal sketch style graphic of me doing X, me with this, doing this in front of this. And then you can use those images as the background of your carousel. So you don't have to make video. You can just make images. And honestly, I was just talking to Sharon about this. He told me he's getting more follower growth and more reach with his carousels than he is with his videos, because to him, he prefers to write. That's why he has a blog. He sends out emails. He does all this stuff. He's a writer first. He just did video because he thought he had to do video, and he wants to make sure he builds his brand, but he's primarily a writer. So don't feel like you can't just write and do well. You just need to use the images to supplement your writing. That's all.
The other thing to realize, though, is people are so much more kind about you than you are about yourself. Like when I watch my own stuff, I'm like, I should be better looking than that. I for sure sound smarter than that. My voice is deeper and richer than that. And I'm just picking myself apart. And so I found that I'm much more kind to other people than they are. I'm like, you look great. What are you talking about? You sound great. So a lot of it, sometimes we have misunderstanding.
And then one thing I want to share with you guys, I forgot to send this. I actually went through and updated our hooks, and I have a new hooks guide I'm going to be sending out. So we had AI analyze, I noticed one of the things that's a hard thing for people to do, Joe, is start their videos properly. And so we analyzed 1,000 of these, and I picked the 40 ways to start your videos that are the best ways.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
So I put it into a thing. I forgot to share this with you guys. I'll drop it in the chat right now. Some of you who are at Rise, you may have gotten it from me already, but if you didn't, it's here. And the feedback has been pretty cool on this. People have been using it and crushing. So I will send that out to you guys today if you just drop your email in this link I just put in the chat.
It's awesome.
And then any of these slides or any of the stuff I shared today, I'm happy to share with you guys. Samuel, good to see you, bro. Sam and I had lunch by accident at Rice. It was cool. We were just sitting at the same table and we got to jam.
Amazing.
But it's really it's dope being with you guys. Thank you so much for having me, Amy. This is awesome.
Thank you, Neel. We appreciate you so much. This
We
was so
appreciate
good.
you. Yeah, let's give some love to Neel in the chat. If you guys learned something from him today, what you guys are going to implement, the next step, right? Enable that next step. Yeah, lots of love. Thank you so much, Neel. We super appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We are ready for today's panel, and today's panel is about one thing, which is turning content into closing. It's not like the vanity metrics that we've been talking about. It's not the trends, it's actual business. And we've brought 4 amazing people that just don't talk about content, but they actually live it. So first, we have Ed Stulak. He has built his brand from an iPhone camera in 2012, not a family pipeline, but he's turned it into a global authority. He's the author of Expose Yourself, which is going to be very interesting because I'm sure just the title itself.
He owns the URL as well, so that'd be interesting. Yeah.
So Expose Yourself. And if you've seen his social, you're like, wow, like you definitely stop. And one of the people that is teaching real psychology behind social media. Then we have Conor Kelly. He went from a plumber to 57 deals in a year off TikTok, doing 2 videos a day, 0 excuses. And then we have Elea. She's the queen of Instagram systems, the agent who teaches agents how to convert without needing to go viral. Her database, her DM strategy has helped hundreds of agents build predictable pipelines. And last but not least, we have Shaleni, and she's mastered community-driven content, turning local storytelling into a very loyal audience and a loyal business. And she shows agents how to create connection, not noise. So welcome all of you guys to our panel. Joe, I'm going to take it.
So yeah, guys, I think one thing I would love to hear from each of you is at what point, if you could share briefly, like at what point did content creation become part of your business? Maybe we'll start with Shaleni. Like, at what point did you start realizing that creating content is actually fueling your ability to, create income for your family and build a bigger life?
I started in 2017, I think 2017, 2018, I started on YouTube, and I just creating local content. It was like a course I had gone to. And that's the thing with courses, right? A lot of times we go to these things and we listen, but we don't actually implement when we go away. And I did what they said. I went, they were like, create 30 videos in 30 days. Go around I picked 30 things I loved about where I lived, and they were not great videos, but it didn't matter. It was just showing up. I met lots of people, and once you do a challenge like that, I feel like you can, you build confidence, and then you feel like you can do anything after that. So. And then I just got really into it after I became a little bit of a gearhead, like Neel had said. I'm like, I do like the gear, and it became a little bit of a passion, and then just contents. I haven't stopped since then.
Yeah. What about you, Conor?
Is my mic working?
Yep.
Yeah, good. I was kind of always posting content. Like I was posting it kind of pretty much like the first thing I did when I got licensed was post a video, but I was doing everything, cold calling, door knocking, everything. And then probably about 45 days in, I started seeing the results from posting on video. Like I ended up selling like 4 properties in an afternoon off a video that I did. And then basically from that point onward, I just kind of doubled down on social media, took it a bit more serious, stopped spending as much time on the calling and the door knocking and all these other things, and just did a higher volume of social media.
Yeah. Ed, you're muted, but you were one of the first people when I started looking at Real Broker. Like, you were one of the OGs doing anything about it. It was so hard to find content back in 2021. Did you start your content game when you made a brokerage switch, or was it something that you were doing before? Like, how did you get into content creation?
Sure. So first, thanks for having me. Pumped to be here. Looks like a big community, so I'm loving this. In terms of the social media side of things, I say that I'm a social media guy that found real estate. I'm very opposite of maybe most. So what that means, I was doing social media content creation for some influencers and some celebrities. I was having fun. It was a fun time. Was not paying the bills whatsoever, but it was a very fun time. And I learned a lot of strategies, and I learned things that I just I know normal people didn't really know about, because I was working with people that were paying a lot of money for upping their social media strategies, like crazy money. So I learned things. Long story short, I got into real estate to make real money. And I learned very fast that realtors and professionals just don't know what to do on social media. They post their kids and their families and their dogs, and that's all they do online. And if they do post, it's not attractive and it's not getting them business. So I figured if I can implement what I learned using these strategies and the things that I learned from people like Gerard Adams. At one point, I worked with Kevin Jonas from Jonas Brothers, and some other people. Like I learned so many things from them, and I figured if this works in real estate, then I got to teach other people this. And long story short, it worked. So here I am teaching what works, I guess.
Yeah. So guys, I don't know if you catch this, but this is the second time we've heard today. I am a X that ended up using it in real estate. Like Ken Pozek said, his company is a content company that happens to sell real estate. And so if you identify as a content creator or, something other than, like when I got into real estate, it was we are realtors, real estate is our life. It's good to be able to self-evaluate and go like, I consider myself a marketing guy who happens to run a real estate team. Elea, how about you? How did you get into content creation? When did you recognize that it was going to be a part of your business?
Thank you for having me, guys. So for me, it's a little bit of a different journey where I got into real estate as a 21-year-old who didn't know anybody or anything about being an adult. And so I actually came to Instagram not because of content, but because of relationships. The team that I was on at the time encouraged me to have 20 conversations a day. And I didn't know how to do that in real life, but because I'm kind of that young millennial, older Gen Z, I was like, social media is where I need to go. So I started at the beginning of 2020 with building relationships and trying to build a brand. And over time, that evolved into not just a content strategy, but hopefully here today, I'll be able to share a little bit on really how to build relationships, not just through content, but through other strategies as well. And to your initial question of how long did it take to get results? I was showing up consistently, probably for 6 to 9 months, getting some leads, converting some deals. But it wasn't until about 9 months in, I ended up setting 18 new client appointments in a matter of 2 months. And that's when things really clicked for me. And I decided to go all in.
So that's a great point. Conor, you made 2 TikToks a day for a really long time. What kept you going when the engagement wasn't happening? Like, did you have a stop point, or were you just like, I'm just going to do this forever till it works?
I just kind of knew that I had to do something consistently to see success in business. And I knew, like, I had gone through this a bunch of times in my own life where, like, you go to the gym and you're going to the gym for 3 months and then you miss a day. And then, oh, you missed 2 days in a row. Now the whole thing is screwed up. You're like, you're not going to the gym next week. You're eating like shit. It just like completely screws everything up. Right. So for me, I knew that I was so paranoid that I'm like, if I miss one day, it's just going to be a domino effect that just like destroys my entire business. Right. So I just haven't really missed a day. That's just what it comes down to is I'm just so paranoid about missing that day that it's going to get into my psyche and screw everything else up. And I feel like if you're not doing, especially if you're a new realtor, if you're not doing at least something in the marketing department consistently every single day, then you don't even really have a business because nothing else works without the marketing, right?
Yeah. So Shaleni, Ken talked about this a little bit, but you connect with your community. That's a big part of the content you create. What kind of how did you discover the power of local and as opposed to just being generic? Like what about local attracted you, or what made you really dive in on that?
It's easy because you live here. I love where I live. I want to help people move to like my community. If I don't have to drive very far, it makes my day so much happier. And I mean, I love my community and a lot of the local businesses and business owners and people I've got to meet because of it. So it was just, it just makes sense to dive into local. You want to work where you live and you want to like serve the community and show up for them and be a part of it. And a lot of what I found like over the years of doing this is a lot of the local business owners, like people are busy running their businesses. They're busy like with, their coffee shop or like their golf, like practice simulator place, like all these different things. They are not really having time. I just did a video on that. That's why it's like fresh on my head. But like they don't have a lot of time to, create content. So they're so thankful when you come in and like do these things to promote them. And it's just like, it's almost like that reciprocity thing. Like you feel like you do something good for them. And then you can build relationships that way. Yeah.
Eddie, content to close, right? Like you're big on creating, I think you're leveraging Instagram a lot to then actually close business from it. do you have any, like, A, where would you recommend people start? And B, what type of lag time are you expecting? Like when you create good content, it's going to be hard to fix someone's financial situation tomorrow. But over the long haul, if somebody's like, man, I'm just not making it, A, like, what's your lag time? And B, where would you start?
So in terms of the social media aspect of content creation, again, we already asked the question of, is all this stuff overwhelming? And it is. There's so many variables, so many roads you can go with content. You can get the fancy camera for $1,000. You can get that microphone. You can get a videographer. You can go and create reels, or no, never mind, just TikTok. No, wait, never mind, long form. Let me do YouTube. There's so many ways. Instagram is my thing. I've been doing it now consistently, very similar to that of Connor. I said amen to Connor before because it is part of my job. This is my marketing. I am not going to pick this thing up and cold call. I did that my first year, didn't do that well. It works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. The traditional things work, but my way, I just love social media. So the way I say it is, I would rather get ignored on social media as opposed to getting the door slammed in my face or getting the hey,
Rather get ignored than hung up on, yeah, or
right.
told you F yourself or
Right,
whatever.
exactly. And so I guess the method that comes to me and the thing that I will say to not overwhelm, but really to kind of simplify my system, and again, this is just my system, feel free to put it in your tool belt, is I create a lot of content. A lot of it is funny. A lot of it can be educational. From time to time, I'll dazzle in the real estate side of things, but the one thing that doesn't really matter what you do with your content is the personability approach. I don't wait for people to come and message me. I don't wait for people to come and comment on my stuff. I go out there and I get it. Just like door knocking. I'm not going to wait for the doors to knock on themselves. I'm going to go and door knock. I'm going to go and hang a door hanger. I'm going to go and cold call. So what I do is I send messages, personal messages, whether it's a new follower, a new person that commented, someone that didn't comment, someone that's in the hashtags, and I'm just going to reach out to them and just compliment them. Joe, hey man, I see what you're with United. That's so cool. I love your glasses, dude. It seems like you're.
Yeah.
I saw your
Keep
video.
it coming. Yeah, this is dope.
Right. You're super handsome, and
Thank you.
like,
Yeah,
right,
I appreciate that.
right. And I'm just gonna feed you until you realize, oh, wait a second, this isn't a copy and pastable type of message that Ed is putting together. This is something like he put in some work in this thing, right? I did research, and then I reach out to you. If you ignore me, you ignore me. But most of the time, you're gonna say this man put in some time. I'm gonna give him some time back. From that point on, it's just about relationship business. So
Yeah.
yes, social media is my way to funnel them, or Neil's analogy before, the metaphor with the net. I create my net because I post so much content that it's impossible for people not to comment, not to engage, not to laugh, not to share, not to message, not to react. Like there's so many things that I give people an option to do, but if they don't, I go and get them anyway.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about social, is that I make it social in the sense of I kind of force it on them. Like, hey, let's talk. Like I'm in your messages now, you know?
Yeah.
Love that, Ed.
I've got one more question, then I'm going to turn some time over to Raquel because she's probably got a bunch too. So Elea, one of my favorite podcasts I listen to, this guy's dad owns a pizza joint, and he created an Instagram reel or whatever. And the dad did, and he handed the phone to his son and said, hey, like press the viral button. And the guy was like, what are you talking? There is no viral button. So I think one of the things we love about what you're doing is you're teaching people how to generate contacts and leads without obsessing over virality. So I guess one question we had was like, what's an overlooked way agents can create content that builds trust rather than obsessing over virality?
I love that. And I actually just saw a similar video. I think it might have been from the head of Instagram, just talking about the fact that views in general aren't as important as the relationships. And we all know that. So where my strategy comes from and what I really try to focus on is this pushback that I get from agents, which is, well, you, AKA me, and probably all the people here teaching have so many followers. That's why you're getting leads. I'm not getting leads because I don't have followers and I'm not getting views. Your strategies don't work. I hear that 30, 40 times a day. And so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that views and having, like Ed said, a bigger net don't add to that, right? The more you bring people in, the better you get with content, the more likely you are to go viral, the more opportunities will come. But for the vast majority of agents who are starting at zero, who do not have a following yet, who are not posting great quality content, you have to be relationship based. So in the beginning, my recommendation and what I teach all agents is very similar to what everybody said so far in terms of finding that authentic voice. If you want to post carousels, post carousels. If you want to post reels, post reels. Don't worry about the content views and the engagement in the beginning. Worry about the relationships. Go to social media and say, how can I, like Ed mentioned, go to the people that are commenting, the few people that are commenting, and message them. Go to local businesses in my community and reach out. When I started my coaching business of real estate, I had 0 followers. Instead of sitting around and hoping my reels went viral, I actually went out and followed almost 2,000 agents that I saw looking at other agent coaches, right? So who is actively wanting to hear from that and then posting to, build that relationship. So my best advice is, yes, virality and getting more views matters, but at the end of the day, it's about relationships. The last thing I'll know, and this actually came from Alex Hormozy, for those of you who know and love him, he gave a really great example in a video that I saw recently where he said, if I put an old lady on the street and I went up and slapped her across the face, that video would get millions and millions and millions of views. But does that do anything for my business? No. So views really don't matter. It really is the content and the relationships that you're building. So I would start there.
Love that.
Amazing. We are now going to get into a fire round because we have 4 panelists that have so much knowledge, so many things to say about content. So this is like one sentence, no fluff. You want to probably get your pens and papers out and your notebooks because they're going to go fast, rapid fast. And so the first question I'm going to start with is, what's one performing content format that's working for you right now? And we'll just go around. Ed, you kick it off.
Humor.
Humor. Shaleni.
As storytelling.
Elea.
Listing tours.
Conor.
Personal opinion on hot news topics.
Nice. Okay. What should agents stop doing on social immediately? Anyone kick it off? Elea.
Copying other agents and just using ChatGPT.
Ed.
Yeah, I would say the social media. Oh, sorry, the ChatGPT. I guess the
The
font,
hashtags.
yeah,
The dashes.
the dashes, the M dashes. That's right. Yeah. Stop, remove that.
Conor.
I just think they need to learn to package their content a bit better.
Yeah. Shaleni.
I think just not being yourself, like trying, like you chat GPT or trying to act like someone else.
Yeah. One hook that is always working or that's working for you guys all right now. One hook. I know Neel just dropped a bunch of hooks in our chat.
I was gonna say Neil's got the best ones. I would say not even a hook necessarily, but the video style. So I think the most engaging content that I usually do on my Instagram stories is when I zoom in. So I'm saying something, but I zoom in on my face. It's a kind of a pattern interrupt. So that's my way of hooking someone to watch the whole thing. But then just also putting text on your videos. Put text. People don't always watch videos with audio. So.
Shaleni, Elea, Conor.
Yeah, I can go. I have 2 for you. So if you are doing something storytelling wise, kind of like Shaleni said, that's working well for me as well. It's not necessarily a hook, but it's more of a framework where instead of, telling a fact, it's I helped a client do, or my client did, I just did, and here's what. You should know what the biggest takeaway was. As far as listings go, one of the best things that I'm is just giving price point and general location, no other details, and asking for people to comment to get more information on the property. That style is working really well for me.
So basically no just listed template or not just sold template.
Correct.
Is that
Yep.
good? Yeah. Shaleni.
I would say the same thing, like coming like the storytelling, but starting with I, like that like an I framework, right? Like I interviewed a small business last week and they said something I didn't expect would hit me this way. Or I was helping a buyer last week who felt overwhelmed from seeing all of these homes and then like going into the story, like coming from like your personal experience. I think it takes the pressure off of trying to sound like expert, and it's a story and it's engaging and relatable.
Yeah, for my hooks, I just try to make them all like as if it would be a headline that like the Toronto Star would put out or something like that, right? And then yeah, that performs amazing for me. So like literally I do that for everything too. So I'll do that for my short form, and then my YouTube titles will literally just be like something the Toronto Star would put out, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you guys had to generate one client in the next 7 days using content, what would be your move?
I would tell them to do
reach out
property
to people.
tours.
Yeah.
Property tours?
Property tour.
Yeah,
Property tours?
100%.
Again, I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna
You're
reach
gonna
out
reach
to
out.
people. I'm gonna reach out to my locals. I do have a link that I will attach. I call this follow farming. I'm not gonna dive too deep into it. But long story short, the reaching out approach, how I actually find clients or people locally, because I can get all of us here can get followings from anywhere around the world, but I think it's more important to get them around your neighborhood, around your house, around the block. So like, what do you do? How do you actually do that? So I came up with a little like a tutorial on my concept called follow farming. That is what I would do right now. If I like had to really get a lead, I'm reaching out to locals. I'm saying hi in their DMs.
I
I'd
like
second
the
that with
proactive.
Ed. I would do both. I would be posting a tour, and then I send minimum 50 to 100 DMs a week, if not more, to do the same thing.
Now, do any of you guys have any type of follow-up system? Do they go from DM to CRM, or is it like, do they go on a special list? Do you flag them in your messages? Just to add to what you guys said.
I have a newsletter, so like I'll like if once you're I DM definitely, and then try to take if they're local, I try to take an online relationship offline to meet them in person, either like for the video or for an interview, or just to touch base with them that way. Or and then I definitely add everybody into a newsletter and I stay in touch with them that way. The key is really to stay in touch. Like the social is the gateway, and like then it's all you. Like you need to stay in touch with people and like build those relationships, and that's the key.
What do you think is one prediction in 2026 that most agents aren't ready for?
I think it's going to get harder. I think social media is going to get harder. I think real estate's going to get harder. I think it's just going to keep getting harder and harder and harder. And the only way you're going to overcome that is by just doing massive action across absolutely everything that you can possibly do and just getting in front of people, because the market share is getting smaller every single year, right? So,
Ed?
Yeah, in a in a world where there's so many competitors, and regardless of what industry that might be, I will poke at the car industry for a second. When everyone is making gas cars, there's always that one person that comes in and says, "No, it's going to be an automatic one or an electric one, and it's going to look like a big dumpster." I'm talking about the Cybertruck. Sorry, I'm all for
Hey,
Tesla.
whoa.
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm all for it. It's different. It's different. Everyone knows it. I didn't even have to say Tesla. Everyone knows it. And that is my point. When in a world of social media, when everyone is relying on AI so much, the people that will stand out the most are those that are very personable, don't use automations, are reaching out to you, are sending you a letter, are sending you a handwritten letter, are sending you a video, are calling you, are making content, right? Not just relying on things like Sora. If you don't know what Sora is, it's an AI thing that you just tell it what to create and it'll create it for you. I think those will prosper that are going to be even more genuine and authentic. So I think that's one thing that we're not prepared for, is how to be that Elon Musk of the social media world. What do you got to do to really stand out from the rest?
I totally agree with them.
Same.
Go ahead,
100%.
Connor.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I agree. I think, and Neel said it too, like everything's kind of moved back to authenticity. So like in 2021, all the reels were like freaking explosions in your face, B-roll, like captions jumping out at you. And now it's really gone back to like literally just your phone, right? So I had an editor for my YouTube, and I got rid of the editor, and I don't do any editing whatsoever. I leave in the mistakes, and like it's gone way better for me since I did that. So.
Leah at
I was
Shaleni.
going to say the same thing. And I think where I would take it to is just this idea that people really care about a personal brand. We've all heard since the day we got licensed, people hire people they know, like, and trust. And you really just can't do that with ChatGPT. I saw someone asked in the comments, and both Ed and I responded saying that we do manual DMs. I highly, highly, highly recommend breaking down your business and getting rid of unnecessary automation. I actually got rid of my AI CRM. I got rid of my assistants and random people and random platforms doing things. I'm doing everything either myself or very close to it, because I'm doing less, but I'm doing it more authentically and the results are better. So for me, that's what's really working right now. And I think a lot of agents have gone way too far down the automation land, and they don't even know what's going on in their business anymore.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's the biggest myth? You guys talked about it a lot. What's the biggest myth about building a brand that agents believe today? Shaleni. Yeah.
I think just that everything needs to be perfect before they start. I think that idea of thinking it needs to be perfect, like you think you're protecting yourself from judgment, but you're really just going to prevent yourself from progress. So like, you are your brand, like you are you, and just no one can outdo you at being you. Like AI can't be you, like, and people like you. And so just show up as yourself, like authentically. I think that's the key to 2026 to really stand out, is like from all of that noise, like just like everyone's saying, like it's okay to make those mistakes or those fumbles or like have those quirks, or like be real and who you are and not try to be somebody else. That'll be the key.
Do you guys think agents think it's too late?
No.
I'm sure a lot of people do, like, but it's not.
It's not late. Again, there's going to be a new invention that none of us 200 people in here are thinking of yet. It's going to pop up in 10 years from now, I guarantee. And we're all going to say the same thing. Ah, shit, I wish I came up with it. The same thing is going to happen in social media. There's going to be that one person that creates that one piece of content that where all of us are going to be like, this is the new thing. Let's do this now. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of obsessed with that concept, Elea, of time, right? Like the next year is going to go by, and all of us will either become better content creators that are connecting with people that are helping them sell houses, or we'll get to that year and go like, dang it, I wish I would have. And so it's fighting the narrative of I wish I would have now, realizing that in a year we can change that narrative so we don't have to look back and say, I wish I would have.
I will say another, if I can, is that I think history repeats itself, and the old ways, the traditional ways that so many of us are forgetting about, are going to be the new ways of making people really remember you, such as what I said before: little handwritten cards, send a nice little notebook, send something to someone and say like, hey, I'm thinking of you. As opposed to making your life so easy, so streamlined, and making everything AI related because it's so efficient, and that's the way you should go. Yes, it is to a degree, So to your point, Joe, absolutely. I think the history is going to repeat itself. Is my point.
So speaking of that, what are some of your favorite tools or apps that you guys use when it comes to creating content? Elea?
I don't use anything, to be
Connor,
honest.
you don't use anything.
Nothing.
Same thing. I don't use anything. I use my iPhone, and I use CapCut and Edits and Canva. That's pretty much it.
CapCut.
Yeah.
Very popular.
CapCut, Canva, same thing. Not
Canva. Who could not live
like-
without
yeah.
Canva today?
Oh my God, though Canva went down yesterday.
I know. And I was like,
meltdown.
refresh. Audience, do you guys have any questions for the panelists? If you guys have questions, we want to open it up for questions.
Yeah, I think just to dive in a little bit more on that tech stack. So you guys are saying nobody's using ManyChat, nobody's using Captions app. Like, you guys are recording content on Instagram using their proprietary captions and everything else, kicking it out there.
No, I use ManyChat. I have ManyChat. Like I use Final Cut Pro. I use CapCut. I use Edits. I have the Captions app. I've used it before, even just to help some other agents, like just like to show them what they could do with it, because it's really easy to use. Like if you're not going to like edit it yourself, there's like templates and things that you can use on there. So I think just like go meet yourself where you're at. Like if you're just starting to do content, like Captions app, it could be a great option for you. Like you just have to record the video and it'll do the things for you, and you can make some choices. Even like in CapCut, there's lots of templates. Like not everyone's like a video editor who has time for that. So like just don't get overwhelmed by like some of the things, because it can be overwhelming if you've never edited, but there are tools out there that'll make it easier for you.
Well, and it's safe to say that not every piece of technology takes away authenticity either. So it's like, yeah, it's very different to use CapCut than to say like, I'm just going to create a Sora video of myself jumping off of a bridge and like landing on a house and telling people about it, right? Like, so there are using technology can help with authenticity sometimes, not just take away from it.
That's right. Definitely. I definitely don't mean to discount it whatsoever. It's just I've seen so many bad examples of how it's used, and it makes me say stuff like that. But anyway.
You're good.
I would also add too, when it comes to automation. So I have two Instagram accounts, one for my coaching business and one for my real estate business. I use automation with my business coaching page because my audience is not local. I'm doing a lot of freebies. My business system is completely different than my local real estate business. With my local real estate business, I want to be more hands-on. I want to be having the one-to-one conversation, and there's less opt-ins. I might have 7 to 10 people commenting versus my average coaching business page is getting hundreds and thousands of comments every single day. It's too much to manage. So I think it's one of those things where you have to figure out like where you're at and what's going to make sense. Like I would imagine Ken, who started, he's probably using automation because and he has an ISA team because he has so much influx. So it's not to say that automation can't be helpful, right? You don't want stuff to overtake you, but while it's still manageable, you do want to be hands-on if you can be.
For those that are, we have a question in the chat. How are you asking for their emails in the DMs to take them off social into newsletters, etc.? Is it just pure conversation or is it through ManyChat?
Yeah, no, voice messages. I just ask, like voice notes. I love voice notes because they're really easy to do and I use Whisperflow, like at least in regular text messages. It's really great if you're driving. But voice notes, like just ask, like, hey, I've got this really great information. I'd love to send you some more. Like send me your email. Like it doesn't have to be weird.
I just say join the newsletter.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah, put in your link in your bio. Yeah. Do you suggest putting? Oh, go ahead.
Send a video. Just I try to get all DMs into text message. So I go straight into, hey, what's your number? Like, let me call you. Let me set up a Zoom call with you. Let me do this. And then immediately I get their email. So
awesome. Do you suggest putting your real estate credentials on your IG Facebook account over and above digital creator? Just reading some of these things in the chat.
So what do you mean by real estate credentials?
I'm thinking like SRES, GRI.
Even I don't know what that is. If we don't know what that is, I don't think consumers will.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. That's what real estate credentials are.
Sure, and that's okay. That's a valid question. Some people still think, and that's okay. I'm not discounting. Sorry if everything sounds like I'm discounting. Just getting straight to the point. Like, I don't think people necessarily care what kind of credentials you have. If you're a realtor or a broker, if you are with this company or that company, I think they matter about you. Going back to the brand, who are you? What's your name? Is it
or the amount of homes that
John,
you sold?
Jacob?
Yeah.
Yes, like that's what people care about. So.
Do you use the same videos for all your platforms?
I do.
Do you guys repurpose?
For TikTok and IG, I do, obviously, and then YouTube is long form, right? But yeah, I'll repost. I actually shoot everything in TikTok because I can edit it right in TikTok if there is any editing, and then I just repost it to IG, which automatically reposts to Facebook.
Awesome. This was a good question. Is what do you guys use to pre-plan your content, or is it just off the cuff? Do you guys use something like Monday, Trello, Notion, with yourself or your team just to plan out your content?
I do it off the cuff, on the fly. And then my YouTube is literally just a long expanded version of the TikToks that perform well. Because once I know that's a hot topic, I can package that for long form too.
And then Ed uses an Excel sheet.
I have an Excel sheet with my media team. So I have the media team that comes in and films with their camera, their whole equipment, and then they edit and then send it to me. So that's one style of my media that I create, but then very similar to that of Conor. I just create video on the fly. Canva and everything else with Cloudflare outage that happened yesterday morning for 15 minutes, immediately jumped on that. I had a call that was coming in. I told that call to wait. I needed to create content because it was fresh on my mind. So I'm like, I need to create this now because it's relevant. And I can't tell you how many pieces of conversation started from that. People were laughing. People were relevant to it. Oh my God, I can't believe Canva's down. It started conversations. So I'm very on the fly. Sometimes you got to be with content.
My process is a bit of a mix of both. I dedicate Mondays. I call them my CEO Monday. I don't book any appointments. I don't book any coaching calls. In the morning, I meet with my coaching group. And then from there, I am literally in my CEO mode. So for both my businesses, the way that I approach content is I don't like to plan way ahead because, as Ed just mentioned, I like to be in the moment, I think, and especially what Shaleni had mentioned as well, those in real time stories, that's what really hit. So when you're just trying to come up with content to have, I don't find that usually connects well in the moment. But I do have a bit of planning. So I tend to have like a goal. How many reels do I want to get out for both businesses? How many carousels do I want to get out for both businesses? What's the ratio? For me, I like to look at nurture versus capture content. And then I really try to identify what do I need to do to execute this week? Do I have enough batch actual content, right? Video, B-roll, talking head videos, or am I at a point where I need to actually set aside some time to create? And then from there, I'm kind of on the fly as things come up, knowing that my goal is to hit a certain number of posts per week. So it's a combo.
Well, we want to thank you all for being on this panel. We hope you guys got some nuggets. So good. I'm going to turn it over to Amy, who's going to wrap us up.
Well, I know we just have like 160 plus people still here that need to get out and get creating some content right now. So we're going to stay on schedule. But guys, please just drop in the chat if you enjoyed CreatorCon and if you would like to see CreatorCon come back again in 2026. Just want to get a little bit of your feedback. We would also love your feedback. So we're going to share a QR code right now. If you would just answer 3 questions for us, anybody who fills out this very, very, very short survey, 3 questions, we will happily send you the recording from today's CreatorCon call so that you can watch on repeat all your favorite segments and just refresh with all the ideas that have come for your content creation plan for 2026. And with that said, I would just like to thank everybody for being here today. We are excited to bring this back in 2026 as well. But in the meantime, we do invite you to join us on Mondays at 9 Pacific, 12 noon Eastern Time. United does present Rocket Fuel, our weekly agent mastermind. So you can check that out at mondayrocketfuel.com if you'd like a little bit more of what you experienced today. Shaleni, Elea, Conor, Ed, thank you so much for wrapping us up with this awesome panel. We appreciate you, and we hope everybody has an amazing rest of your day. Now go make some content, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.